All right, more national media shenanigans, this time from NBC Sports. New Orleans Saints don't have a proven commodity in the quarterback room. Chris Sims or whoever said it. Let's give it a watch.
Anymore. And so now here is the
Let's start over.
you got no Derek Carr there anymore. And so now here is the situation for the Saints. Of course, new head coach with Kellen Moore.
Yep.
You got Tyler Shuck, who you drafted in the second round. You
Right.
got Jake Hayner, who you drafted last year, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And Spencer
2 years
Rattler.
ago, I think.
Oh, was that 2 years ago? And then Spencer
so.
Rattler last year. So you got
Right.
quarterbacks you've taken the last 3 years. They're all competing now. We're going to tell all three of these guys to roll, and they've all earned these opportunities, is what they're telling them. So
Kellen Moore said.
that's what Kellen Moore said, I believe,
Yeah.
here. So, all right, how do you think this plays out? What are you most interested in with these three guys going toe to toe?
The Saints are in a transition, a rebuild, whatever you want to say, right? They got guys like Cam Jordan and Demario Davis who are 175 years old, right? And I'm
Combined.
right. And then they got some young offensive linemen and some other young talented guys. But I think it's fair to say that they're in the process of kind of rebuilding, retooling their team here.
Fair.
Right? They have salary cap issues and all that. The quarterback situation itself, yes, it's one of the most underwhelming in all of football. In fact, like let's not say underwhelming. Out of the 32 teams, I don't know. This is maybe the diciest one of all. I know that.
I think definitely you can make a reasonable argument for that. I mean, let's be honest, right? You can. But there's also like some other teams in that conversation, like the Colts. They're having an open competition between Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. I think right now Jones is like the early favorite, so that's definitely ugly. You got the Steelers, who as of right now, it's probably going to be Mason Rudolph if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign with them, and even if Aaron Rodgers does, I mean, come on. And then you got the team that traded for Kenny Pickett, signed Joe Flacco, and drafted two quarterbacks all in the same offseason in the Cleveland Browns. So Saints, yes, they are definitely in that group. Can't argue with it, but there are definitely other teams with them.
There's one or two others, and we're going to probably talk about here later in the show, but this is up there with it. Plus, like zero proven commodity here. Zero. I got to think, my first thought is that somebody veteran-wise, whether a team that's got four quarterbacks that goes, wait, we don't need all these, maybe we'll trade them for a seventh rounder or something like that, or they wait for training camp to people to get cut, they're going to bring somebody in, I would think. Right, I have a hard time thinking Kellen Moore, offensive coach, quarterback, all that's going to go into a year going, I'll just ride with young guys in my first year as a head coach. He's going to want somebody there, I think that's at least.
So I wouldn't be shocked if the Saints do go out and sign a veteran. I don't think they should bring that veteran in to start at all. I think you have to figure out what you have in either Shucker or Spencer Rattler, whoever wins this competition, so that you can be prepared to know if you have to look for or draft another quarterback next year. I think you have to go with one of the young guys. Now, if they were to bring in a vet like say a Teddy Bridgewater, or if they were to see what the Giants were willing to do to part with like a Jameis Winston, right? Or if they cut him, who knows what they got going on up there after they just they signed Russ, signed Jameis, and also drafted Jackson Dart. So maybe they could get rid of Jameis in training camp. Who knows? Or Pryor. That's a guy that I'm sure he would love to come back to New Orleans to mentor the young guys, right? So, if they do go the route signing a veteran, it wouldn't shock me. But it definitely shouldn't be to start. In my opinion.
At least a backup to go,
backup.
Hey, if things start to fall apart, at least I can depend on this guy to like kind of hold us together. He's played NFL games. He knows how to run an NFL offense. And when we got to break glass for disaster, at least I have him, right? That's, I would think. I would have a hard time believing they're going to stand still with just these three guys.
It's for Kellen Moore, obviously not ideal, right? But a first-year head coach, you got leeway up the wazoo here. And you really could, if you wanted to, just be like, all right, here are the three quarterbacks that we have, and talk to your ownership and management and be like, let's just see what we got. We'll go through year one and see if any of these guys steps up. We'll give them maximum reps and practice and all that stuff. So you could see them.
And I think that's the way I would go about it. I think I would just roll with the young guns, because on the flip side, the negative to bringing in a veteran is if you're a rookie or if you're Spencer Rattler, you're always going to have somebody breathing down your neck, right? Like in the back of your mind, it's like, oh, I can't mess this up. I can't throw this interception because, somebody, whoever's waiting on me back there, the veteran, coach is going to put him in, right? So I think, in a sense, there's benefits to bringing one in, and then there's benefits to, or there's negatives as well, because again, if that guy isn't there breathing down your neck, you can play a little more freely.
Going that route as well, not feeling the pressure to have to win because it's an ultimate rebuilding year.
You're right.
So it'd be interesting to see how that would play out. But we do have some video of Tyler.
And by the way, this is literally just the perfect, especially post all this Derek Carr news when we're going to get the money back. This is literally just the perfect year for the Saints and Kellen Moore to throw stuff at the wall and see what works, see what sticks, and whatever don't stick, move on. And then that way, heading into next year, they know what they have in some guys and what they need to go out and improve on.
Shuck at rookie minicamp, so I think he has started to throw here. We've seen some evidence of him out there. If we have it, do we have it, Kristen? And this is like
there we go.
Hold on. We do have it. Here we go.
Oh, right into
slow motion.
Right into your family room right here. Boom. Pretty ball, though. I mean, he throws a nice spiral. He's got a nice motion. You can see, he's tall, big guy, good athlete.
Let's see Shedeur do that.
You're funny. Well, let's get into that a little bit. And as we watch him here, right? Again, my feelings about Tyler Shough. I like him. I'm not in love with him. He's not a guy that's going to, the team's going to come out there. And I said this to Florio earlier today, where it's like when Josh Allen or Mahomes Lamar, their first few days of practice, where the whole team was like, holy shit, did you see Mahomes throw the ball? Oh, my gosh, right? Or like LaShawn McCoy was, the first month with Josh Allen. He's like, Josh Allen's unbelievable. Josh Allen's a freak show. Josh Allen's got the greatest arm I've ever seen in my life. He was saying those things. That's not the type of talent Tyler Shough has. But the beauty of Tyler Shough is the consistency and what we talked about in the process as far as the draft goes. Mm-hmm. He's NFL ready. He's been in an NFL offense. You can see him, and you have hundreds of plays of evidence of him in the pocket, making the right read, being surgical, throwing the appropriate throw, right? So that's why there's great value. He and Jackson Dart killed interviews, right? And that whole process and the things. And I don't know if you've seen any of these interviews that the Giants have released behind the scenes with Jackson Dart. They're intense.
Yeah.
They put you through it. So just again now, you said let's bring Shedeur Sanders. If you show up and go, I didn't study or do anything, you ruin a whole day that they had prepared for you. And Shedeur Sanders, by all due accounts, did not become prepared to do some of that stuff.
By the way, on the Shedeur Sanders front, I had to mute the word Shedeur Sanders on Twitter because as soon as the Derek Carr news was announced, what do you see? Oh, they should have drafted Shedeur. See, this is why they should have drafted Shedeur. Dude, if they wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders, they would have drafted him. Okay? No other team wanted him either. Even the Browns didn't want him. The owner had to make the call. So, miss me with that, man. Get over it. I hope Shedeur proves the NFL wrong, and I hope he kills it in Cleveland. But if the Saints wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders and thought that he had a chance to be their quarterback of the future, they would have done it.
Yeah. This is a team here in the Saints that were like, wait, we got an old quarterback who we don't really want anyways, and he's got a shoulder issue. We need a guy that's going to be a professional and knows how to play and has played as close to professional type offense as it can get in college football under Jeff Brown in Louisville. Okay, that's where this guy fits that mold. So that's why they took him. One, I think they were impressed with what they've seen on film. They're impressed by what they got in the meeting room. Wait, this kid's a little older. We know that. He's been some of the offenses. Ooh, he's retaining some of the things we're teaching him. He's able to teach it back. That's a big thing. On Wednesdays in the NFL, as you've heard me say before, you might get 50 new plays. You got to be somewhat smart to be able to put it all together and go, wait, I got to walk through in 2.5 hours. I got to have a pretty clue how to run these plays. I might not be perfect, but then I got to practice after that, and I got to be perfect by then. So I better get on my P's and Q's here, right? So these are the things they're testing out in this process. He did really well in that. So, yeah, from that standpoint, it was a good draft pick because he's experienced as you're going to get for a rookie quarterback.
It's such a good point, right? And I don't normally agree with a lot of the stuff Chris Sims says, but in terms of just pro-ready quarterbacks, Tyler Shough, by far the most pro-ready guy, just based off of the offense that he played in Louisville. Louisville runs a pro-style offense, tons of, under center, tons of quick game, play action. They also mix in the RPO stuff that Kellen Moore will be running a lot in New Orleans, same that he did in Philadelphia. The offense that Shough ran in Louisville is the closest you are going to get to an NFL-style offense, especially in today's college football landscape. So it's clear they were looking for a quarterback that could come in and play right away, right? They knew what was going on, with Derek Carr. Stuff was questionable with his shoulder. So they had to go out and get somebody, and they got the guy that they feel is ready to play now.
But at the same time, do I sit here yet and just go, oh, he's the future for sure? No, I want to see that.
No.
Do I think
We
it's
don't know
talent
yet.
that just necessarily goes, oh my gosh, wait till they see this guy? No, not exactly. Spencer Rattler behind him had a few moments last year, but he was 0-4 as a starting quarterback, and I certainly didn't see anything from him that made me think, ooh, he's the future either.
You cannot judge Spencer Rattler on anything that happened last year. That dude was put in an impossible situation. You have to think. You're playing, going out there, as a rookie who was drafted in the 5th round, I believe he was drafted in. So he was already going to take some time to develop, but then he's thrust into action with a team that has fired their head coach, right? Or was about to, and then did fire their head coach. A team that literally had no weapons healthy whatsoever, had a horrific offensive line. You just cannot judge or make an assumption on what Spencer Rattler is going to be as a quarterback or as a player just based off that alone. And even if the Saints were fully healthy last year and Rattler stunk it up, then you still can't make a definite decision on whether he's a good or bad quarterback, because he was a rookie, man. This stuff is hard. It is hard to play quarterback in the NFL. Look at Bryce Young. He just turned it on the second half of his second year in Carolina. Just started to look like that. And he was the first overall pick. And in terms of Rattler, we're talking about a guy who was picked in the later rounds who was going to take longer to develop anyway. So you just, based off the situation alone, you can't really say whether Spencer Rattler has it or not.
And I know Jake Hayner's not that. So that's where I just get into, I still think they can do all the things they want to do with bringing Tyler Shough along.
Yeah.
Even if they bring just some veteran, just to be there to go, first off, who's going to teach these guys how to work and be pros right now?
Yeah.
Who do they got to follow? Oh, Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner are going to lead the show? Right. They're still at a point in their career. I'm not trying to be a jerk and just go, they don't know their ass from their elbow still, right? I mean, I didn't either as a second or third year quarterback. You're still learning. You're still going, oh, wait, I could have been better at this. Oh, he's preparing like that. Oh, okay, I'm going to start doing that next week, right?
It's helpful to have a template.
It's helpful to have a guy like that. I had Brad Johnson, Brian Greasy, Sean King. I had guys that I got to see and go, ooh, I like that. And I'm going to add my own little wrinkle to it, right? And that's where I just think they'll add somebody at some point.
Well, DraftKings thinks that Tyler Shough at least is the guy of the near future for the Saints,
right.
And they have the odds for who will take the first snap in week number 1, and it is Tyler Shough, -200. Spencer Rattler, +150. So fairly close, but Shough is the guy.
I bet on Shough.
And Jake Hayner, +1,700. Yeah, I guess so. Although, Spencer Rattler does have a benefit of a
played a
extra
little bit.
year.
That's right. He's been around, but it's going to be a new offense for all of them, right? So they're all going to be starting at square one as far as learning, Kellen Moore and what he wants to do.
Plus, Shough is their guy.
Exactly. That's what, because Shough is handpicked.
Yeah.
Exactly. Handpicked.
And whether we want to admit it or not, he is handpicked. He is Kellen Moore's guy that he picked. So he is going to get that benefit of the doubt, and he is going to just kind of automatically come in with, a slight favoritism.
Heard and everything I heard, and I think I even told you the day after the draft, I think the Saints like Shough. That's what I was told. That's what I believed going into day 2 of the draft. Yeah. So they obviously had their eye on him. And, so from that standpoint, he's not a first-round pick, so he's going to get 9 lives and every chance to fail, and they're going to put him in every position to succeed. But he is handpicked by the new head coach. He is a second-round pick, a top 40 pick, right in there, or at least 40 somewhere in there.
I think so.
39. Either way. Yeah, with that, he is going to be favored in the quarterback room, I think.
I don't disagree. Long term, I think. I don't disagree. I would play devil's advocate, and maybe because he is their guy and they want him to succeed and they want him to be set up to look good, is that if he's not ready in week 1, they definitely will have no problem.
No, I think
Spencer
you're
Rattler
right about
out there
that.
and be like, okay, buy him a little more time.
You're
before
exactly right.
He's got
You're
it under
exactly
control.
right that. You're exactly right about that, and that's where, hey, this is going to be big for Tyler Shough too. It's going to be a lot thrown on him.
Right, and I want to say, the only way, in my opinion, Shough doesn't start is if he totally stinks it up in training camp and if he's horrible, right? But if he even looks slightly competent, and let's just say that it's it looks to be an even competition between Rattler and Shough. Let's just say it's even close. Let's just say Rattler has looked even a little bit better, just a little bit. They're still going to roll with Shough. Like, they just are, because number one, one's a rookie, one's not, and one was handpicked by the quarterback. So even if Rattler looks like Rattler would have to look miles better than Tyler Shuck, in my opinion, for them to choose him over Shuck.
NFL, as we've heard, the game, it's different. It's going to be more physical. You're going to have to stand in the pocket there. One of the things I did not love about Tyler Shuck is his ability to stand in the pocket and make throws with people around him. And I know the other people in the NFL were a little bothered by that too, right? I think you saw some of the social media clips of literally him like ducking and chucking and some of that, all that. Yeah. So this is going to be a crash course right here, right now. They got a good offensive line. They got some speed at receiver, right? We'll see what they do here, but the Saints are a team, certainly in a weird spot as compared to other teams in the NFL because of Derek Carr retiring and where they are as a full team altogether.
DraftKings Sportsbook is your home for live betting, and new customers can bet $5.
No free ads here, buddy.
And that concludes
that was
our discussion on the New Orleans Saints for the season. That will be the last time we talk about them.
We'll check in with them for the next draft.
Yeah, when they're officially eliminated.
Said something today. He goes, well, maybe this will just be a year for tanking for Arch Manning, right? To bring back.
Oh, my God.
Because this is where his granddaddy played.
Arch Manning
right?
probably isn't even going to come out. Like, can we stop even mentioning his name?
Did that, but yeah, that's too far. You don't know yet. Kellen Moore's not thinking about tanking in year one for a quarterback, nor do we. The Manning's history is that they stay in school. They're not in a rush to get out, right? Peyton was there. He stayed an extra year. Eli went 5 years.
They're pretty much done. So, fairly decent video. Everything he said, you can't argue with. Definitely Saints when it comes to, quarterback rooms, definitely at the bottom of the league, right? Hopefully by the end of the year we can, make a jump in that list, but we'll see, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch how this whole thing plays out. I hope that Rattler is given a fair shake in this competition. I really do hope so. I hope he is given a fair chance to compete. But again, like I said, if it's even close in camp, they're going to give the nod to Shuck just because, again, he's the rookie coming in and he is the handpicked guy. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.